Welcome to Bad Guy Compendium, the ultimate podcast for fans of comic books, movies, and the unforgettable villains that make them unforgettable. I'm your host, Finley Strong. Norman Bates, the twisted protagonist of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho 1960, remains one of the most influential and fascinating villains in cinematic history. With his unassuming demeanor, boyish charm, and deeply disturbed psyche, Norman represents the darker, repressed side of humanity, making him a timeless figure in the annals of film and pop culture. Introduced in Robert Bloch's 1959 novel Psycho and immortalized by Anthony Perkins' chilling portrayal in Hitchcock's adaptation, Norman Bates redefined horror and psychological thrillers. His character has appeared in sequels, prequels, television adaptations, and even inspired countless other villains in the horror genre. This article explores Norman Bates's creation, history, and evolution, as well as his profound impact on pop culture. Norman Bates first appeared in Robert Bloch's novel Psycho, a psychological thriller inspired by the real-life crimes of Ed Gein, a notorious murderer and grave robber whose macabre actions shocked America in the 1950s. Bloch's novel introduced readers to a reclusive young man running a dilapidated motel while living under the oppressive influence of his domineering mother. The character gained global fame with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, a film that pushed boundaries and redefined the horror genre. Anthony Perkins' portrayal of Norman Bates as a shy, awkward, yet ultimately sinister character left an indelible mark on audiences. With his dark secrets and tragic backstory, Norman Bates quickly became a symbol of psychological horror. Bloch's creation of Norman Bates was influenced by Ed Gein, a murderer from Wisconsin who was arrested in 1957. Gein was known for his obsession with his deceased mother and his gruesome acts of grave robbing and murder. While Bloch's novel doesn't directly mirror Gein's crimes, the central theme of maternal fixation and isolation served as the foundation for Norman Bates. In the 1959 novel, Norman Bates is described as a middle-aged man with a disturbing obsession with his mother, Norma. After killing her in a fit of jealousy, Norman develops a split personality, embodying his mother to the extent of wearing her clothes and speaking in her voice. The novel unfolds as a chilling exploration of repression, madness, and the consequences of unchecked psychological trauma. Norman's portrayal in the novel is significantly darker than his depiction in Hitchcock's film. Bloch presents him as an unattractive, socially awkward man with violent tendencies, emphasizing his instability and dangerous nature. When Alfred Hitchcock adapted Psycho for the screen, he reimagined Norman Bates as a younger, more sympathetic character. Anthony Perkins' portrayal added layers of vulnerability and charm, making Norman a complex figure who elicited both fear and pity from audiences. Hitchcock's decision to focus on Norman's duality, the innocent motel owner and the murderous mother persona, created one of the most compelling villains in cinematic history. Norman's boyish charm made his eventual reveal as the killer all the more shocking, cementing the character's place in the pantheon of great movie villains. The story begins with Marion Crane Janet Leigh, a secretary who embezzles $40,000 and flees to start a new life. She ends up at the Bates Motel, run by the shy and awkward Norman Bates. Norman's interactions with Marion reveal his deep psychological scars, particularly his oppressive relationship with his mother. In the film's most iconic scene, Marion is brutally murdered in the shower, seemingly by Norman's mother. As the film progresses, it's revealed that Norman's mother is long dead, and that Norman, suffering from dissociative identity disorder, has been impersonating her. The shocking twist, coupled with Hitchcock's masterful direction, made Psycho a groundbreaking film. Psycho changed the landscape of horror and psychological thrillers. Norman Bates became the prototype for a new kind of villain, one driven by psychological complexity rather than mere evil. The film's exploration of mental illness, repression, and familial trauma resonated with audiences and influenced countless films and characters. Released 23 years after the original, Psycho I continues Norman's story. Directed by Richard Franklin, the film sees Norman released from a mental institution, deemed rehabilitated, and returning to the Bates Motel. However, his attempts at a normal life are thwarted as mysterious murders begin to occur, leading to questions about whether Norman has truly recovered or is being framed. Anthony Perkins reprised his role, delivering a performance that captured Norman's inner turmoil and the lingering effects of his past. Psycho I received mixed reviews, but is now considered a respectable sequel that deepens Norman's character. Directed by Anthony Perkins himself, Psycho I explores Norman's continued struggle with his mother persona. The film delves into his relationship with a young woman, Mary, and the murders that occur around the Bates Motel. While Psycho I didn't achieve the critical acclaim of its predecessors, it provided further insight into Norman's fractured psyche. A prequel and sequel combined, Psycho IV explores Norman's childhood and his twisted relationship with his mother, Norma Bates, played by Olivia Hussey. Told through flashbacks, the film reveals how Norma's abuse and possessiveness shaped Norman's psychosis. But while not as iconic as the original, Psycho IV offers a deeper understanding of Norman's backstory. Norman Bates' impact on the horror genre is immeasurable. His character paved the way for psychologically complex villains, influencing characters like Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs 1991 and Patrick Bateman in American Psycho 2000. The theme of maternal obsession has also become a recurring motif in horror, seen in films like Carrie 1976 and Hereditary 2018. Norman Bates has been parodied and referenced in numerous films and TV shows. Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons have spoofed the iconic shower scene, while characters like Stewie Griffin from Family Guy draw inspiration from Norman's twisted relationship with his mother. Norman Bates' image standing in front of the Bates Motel, often holding a knife, has become synonymous with cinematic villainy. His story has transcended its original context to become a symbol of the darker aspects of human psychology. The television series Bates Motel, starring Freddie Highmore as Norman and Vera Farmiga as Norma, serves as a contemporary prequel to Psycho. The show explores Norman's teenage years and his descent into madness, providing a modern reinterpretation of his backstory. Bates Motel received widespread acclaim for its performances, particularly Highmore's portrayal of Norman and Farmiga's complex depiction of Norma. The show delves into themes of mental illness, family dysfunction, and the fine line between love and control, offering a fresh take on the classic story. The series expanded Norman's character, transforming him from a tragic figure into a fully realized human being. It introduced his story to a new generation, while paying homage to Hitchcock's original masterpiece. Norman Bates remains one of the most enduring figures in cinema, a character who continues to captivate and terrify audiences. His psychological complexity, combined with Anthony Perkins' iconic performance, has ensured his place in popular culture. From his chilling debut in Psycho to his reimagining in Bates Motel, Norman Bates has left an indelible mark on storytelling, influencing generations of filmmakers and writers. His legacy serves as a reminder that the most terrifying monsters often come from within, and that beneath even the most unassuming exterior can lie unimaginable darkness. Norman Bates, with his twisted psyche and tragic story, will forever remain the dark shadow lurking in the world of cinema. Subscribe to Bad Guy Compendium anywhere you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com and get ready to delve into the minds of the most iconic villains in pop culture history. I've been your host, Finley Strong, and remember, evil never sleeps, but bad guys are forever.